Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back. Today we're continuing our great guitar build-off build. We've got this beautiful neck that Crimson Guitars sent me, and we got a couple things that we're gonna do on it. So they sent me this for the contest. It's got a beautiful, already shaped neck and everything, which is really nice because when all is said and done, I've got to basically build this kit in like 4 days total. So that saved me some time, which I'm going to need. This neck looks good, but it did come all the way over from the UK, and it's a long trip, so it experienced the concomitant hardship with that. And the result of that is some of the frets are lifting a little bit and some throat spread has occurred. So first of all, we've got some that are bowed ever so slightly, which is different than having a fret end lift. If you've got a problem with a fret end lifting, I've already done a video on that. Check that out. We're gonna deal with this differently. And then yeah, if I were to like run my hand along here, I'd come away bleeding pretty bad. Just because of the fret spread. And that's to be expected, particularly when things are being shipped a long way. QC on this, quality control happened in the UK, and then it made its way all the way over here. Some things change, humidity, temperature, etc. So we got a couple things to deal with. In today's video, we're gonna do that. Now, I'm not gonna do a level and dress of the frets in this video, and I'm actually not gonna do it as part of my great guitar build-off video series this year. If you don't know how to do it, I've done a few videos on it. There are lots of great videos out there from other people on it as well. I think Texas Toast Guitars just did one that was pretty damn good. I did it as part of last year's build, and that one will serve you well as well. This year, I'm doing it differently. I've got a new method that I'm working on that, the whole thing takes about 5 minutes. A little longer with the polish, but it's much faster. And I'm not ready to do a tutorial on it yet. I will at some point, I'll show you guys, but I need to finish perfecting it. I know I can get the right result. I just want to make sure that it's all set up in a way that other people can do. So that'll come at some point. It's not gonna be on this one, but what we are gonna do is deal with the couple problems that we do have here. And we're gonna use a couple interesting tools for that from Solo Music Gear. If you want them, Crimson Guitars supplied the kit. If you want the kit, check out crimsonguitars.com. Awesome kits. You can pick, whether you want the neck profile. You can do pretty much any level of customization you want. I have my own logo in there and everything. If you want the tools that I'm going to be using, there's a solomusicgear.com link in the description. Check them out there. If you use that link, it is an affiliate link, so it helps me out. So let's talk about what we need here. All right, we need to be smart about this so we don't end up doing the same work twice. Because these frets are raised in the middle, when we push them down, they're going to push out further. All right, if they were raised at the ends, then we'd have a different problem. We'd have to tap in the ends again. I have a video on that already, or even refret, remove and replace a fret or two. But because they're raised in the middle, that's not a problem. The ends should be tapped in first when you install a fret, and then you flatten out the middle. So again, what's gonna happen is as we push this down in the center, they're gonna spread a little bit, and the fret sprout is gonna get worse. So we're not going to deal with the fret sprout first, because if we did that, we would have to do it again. Instead, we're going to worry about pushing down the center of the fret. There are a few different ways that we can do this. The 3 options that I have available to me here, all from Solo Music Gear, are a fret hammer. So I could make sure those ends are in and then tap from the center. You want to make sure you've got your neck stabilized while you do this. This item, where you put in a fret call and then you hit it with your fret hammer to tap them in, which I will probably use, at least for some. And then what I'll do for the bulk of them is just use this. This, you can set how far you're pushing. You put an item on the back here to rest the neck in. It provides the requisite stability for the back of the neck and pushes the fret in for the front. Importantly, I need to make sure I have the right radius here. I believe this is the same as a Telecaster, but I'm going to check that now, and then we're going to fix these. All right, so I've done my checks here in the typical way, which means I've taken a radius gauge, which I can pick up, I promise you, a couple of them, and checked on the neck with a light behind it. So you put like your phone flashlight or something behind it, see if any light comes through either on the edges or underneath. If it's underneath, of course, you need to go to a bigger radius. If it's on the edges, you need to go to a smaller one. And I've determined, and I was actually a bit surprised by this, that this fretboard is a 16-inch radius, which is fine. So I've got, like I said, a few options here to work with. And what I've got from Solo Music Gear is a set of these fret calls that runs from 6 degrees all the way up to flat. So I'm going to take my 16, and by degree I mean inches, 6-inch radius all the way up to flat. So I'm going to take my 16-inch radius, and that's what I'm going to use to push these in. And then I have the supports for the back of the neck here. We've got flat, very wide, that's for like a wizard neck, typical, and then very tight. And this neck is a perfect fit for this one. No surprise there. So I'll put my excess stuff away, and I'm not going to go hammering away at the fretboard today, but I am going to use that a little bit with this. First off though, I'll show you what I intend to do for the bulk of these. All right, get this guy set up. So there's my support. Put my fret call in, centered, push it in all the way. Not that that part matters all that much, but you do want to make sure that it's seated properly so that it's pushing evenly across the fret. We'll get that tightened in there just a little bit, nothing too crazy. And now get the neck seated in here. And I only really want to work on the ones that are lifted, but I'm going to give them all a light press just in case. So get that lined up. Centered, all good. Got lots of travel room in here. Even you can adjust how far you want to push with this thing. And then I'm going to look closely. Give it a press. Make sure it looks good. That one can use a little more. It's seated in there comfortably. Give her a squeeze. Nice. All right, and I'm just going to move on down the fretboard, and I might as well just give each of these a squeeze this way, and that will get them seated in there nicely. I suppose I should demo the other tool though. So if you've got a press that'll hold something like this, or if you want to try the other option, this guy, nice versatile tool, good for both pushing frets in initially, much like this is, or for reseating them if there's a problem. So let's do the same thing here. We'll get that loosened up. This is just a set screw that keeps the call in place. Make sure we've got enough room. Get it seated in there fully. Tighten it up. Okay, we're good. It's got a little bit of wiggle room just in case there. Now for this, I want to support the neck, and I have a few options for that, but because it's here and it fits, I'm just going to go ahead and put it right in there. Get this seated nicely on top of the fret and give it a few taps. Push down. There we go. As predicted, the fret sprout has gotten a little worse on these, but they're seating correctly. So I'm going to do the rest of the fretboard that way, and then we'll come back and deal with the fret sprout. Okay, our lifted frets are now dealt with. Now this fretboard I've already checked is flat, so that's good. Use your notch straight edge to do that. Crimson Guitars has notch straight edges. They're very nice, but they're also available from a variety of other places, including Solo Music Gear. Now that that's done, I'm going to fix my fret sprout. Now these frets are already beveled. This is Solo Music Gear's block for this. It's got a variety of angles that you can install your file at. You can make one of these with a table saw if you know what you're doing, and you can create these set screws. These are just threaded inserts. But anyway, there are a variety of angles here. I can bevel all my frets with this. I can file the edges with this. You can do pretty much whatever you need to. Now, I actually don't like the ends of my frets beveled significantly, and the ones here are already beveled enough, probably a little more than I would typically do it if I were making my own. So I'm just going to switch this to 90 degree and sand the sides. Now that's just a matter of preference, I should be clear. Beveling your fret ends makes them comfortable. It's not a bad idea by any stretch of the imagination. It's a good thing and a lot of people like it. I prefer the rounded fret ends, something that you would see more typically on like a high-end Ibanez guitar, that kind of thing. Now, a lot of people find that a little bit less comfortable. I personally find it more comfortable, and I find that it allows me to do a little bit more craziness on the bends without having any problems. Not that I'm good enough to really have any business doing that, but whatever, I try. So because there's some fret sprout here, because these are poking out a bit, me just shaving this vertical using the 90-degree option here is going to reduce the amount of bevel a little bit, or at least, take a little of the travel out of that bevel and allow me to round over the rest using my new method that I've been working on. You've all seen, hopefully, how I used to do it, or how the tools that I still use a little bit for it. Again, they're from Solo Music Gear as well. Fret rounding and beveling files. Good tools. I like them. But I have a new way of doing things. Anyway, so this is very, very straightforward. This wood travels along the top. You get this file butted up against the edge, and you just file. So you can already hear we're basically there. Not quite. Close. You can hear the difference. Make sure you're going in the right direction with the file. See, when it switches from taking metal to just beginning to take a touch of wood, not only will you hear the difference, but you will feel it. You'll feel the resistance reduce, and that's what you need. That's it for this side. I'm going to do the other side as well, of course, but now if I wanted to, after doing that, I could switch to one of these bevels, either the 15, 25, or 35 degree, and file in my bevel. Whew. That's a lot of fret sprout, okay. Almost there. Ooh, a little on the bottom on both sides. Clear. There we go. Okay. And then, yeah, as part of the fret rounding process, you finish that off. What you may want to do here is just give them a slight round or bevel using some fine sandpaper. I've got my Crimson Guitars fret leveling beam here. So I'm just going to finish this off using a fret leveling beam because it's smoother than that file. Okay, and then give it a very slight round. Just a minor one though. I don't want to mess with that too much now because it's part of a different process. Okay, and I'll do the same on the other side. Deal with any remaining fret sprout. Get that nice and comfy. See, I'd be bleeding if I had done this before. We're good. All clear. All right, guys, so there you have it. That is how I deal with raised frets and fret sprout. As always, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please feel free to give it a thumbs up. I would appreciate it. I hope you guys are really enjoying the Great Guitar Build Off and checking out all the other builders, because there is some insane stuff out there. Thanks again. Remember to subscribe if you want to see more stuff like this. And yeah, have a good one. See you next time.